YouTube, what's poppin'? It's your boy RayQuan back with another video. Today's video, as you can tell, I got the chef hat on, which means we about to whip some shit up in the kitchen. Now, I done already seasoned my chicken breast, cut it up and everything, and I'm doing all my meal prep for the week. So I'm gonna cook these chicken breasts right here. I got lettuce in the fridge that's gonna stay there because I don't need to do anything with the lettuce. I eat peanut butter and banana sandwiches. That's kind of like my little sources of snacks and proteins during the day, along with some granola bars. And I'm working on getting new things into my diet, but I'm on a really strict diet just because I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to get this muscle back, you feel me? And I'm trying to like get myself back in shape. So I'm getting myself together. But welcome to the first episode of Cooking with Quan. And while I'm cooking, well, cooking with RayQuan. And while I'm cooking, I want to talk about something that's been on my mind for the past couple of months. It's been on my mind since about like December, November. And that is, as human beings, should we fall in love? And the question, I've always asked myself this question because I've noticed that, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys can too. Nigga, when I fall in love, nigga, my whole life goes into a motherfucking crazy ass spiral. And I know part of that was because growing up, and I'm gonna get a little personal for a second. Growing up, I had little problems like, I guess you can call them mommy issues, where I used to look for women in high school and middle school to kind of fill that void that I felt from like the mother figures in my life. And part of it was my fault with them not being as close to me as I wish, and part of that was their fault. It was a mixture of both. I'm not gonna sit here and blame them or take like, you know what I mean? So. But part of that was what made me so stressed out, like growing up, and I dealt with a lot of depression and things like that. But that was part of what made me fall in love so quick and so deeply growing up, and it used to fucking be so unhealthy. And like, it's something that over these past 2 years, I haven't had a girlfriend in like past 2 years. In the last video I talked about a special lady. She's not my girlfriend yet, and we'll get there eventually, but it's taking some time. We're both being patient. But anyway, back to the video. So something I was like thinking about and everything was like, is this something that anybody should do? Because I know what it did to me, but is there anybody in this life that can fall in love and like still be like in a healthy dynamic? And some people are really happy in relationships, but I think there's an understanding of, or maybe that falling in love stage wears down, but there's love there. And people think that there's like not a difference between falling in love and loving somebody, and there is, and that's what I'm going to talk about. But to answer the question, should we fall in love? I'm going to personally say no. Now, I know a lot of people are going to look at me and say, nigga, Quan, because I was the king of that shit in high school. I know. But I've taken some time to really think about things, really like look at things from an objective perspective, and that's my answer to the question. I'm going to explain it. So when I look at falling in love, I look at it kind of like doing drugs. Now, if you know anything about drugs for the most part, all drugs, but that good shit, that cocaine, that it fucks with your mental a little bit, whether it stimulates it, whatever. But there's one thing that they all have in common, and is that all the drugs wear down. And they wear off, they wear down, and they don't last. Kind of like how falling in love does. And that's when you have to have that foundation of love. And please, don't take everything from me. I'm a goddamn 20-year-old. I'm just trying to educate as much as I can from what I know. But one of those things is you have to build that foundation of love. And another difference between loving somebody and falling in love is the amount of emotional, I guess you can say emotional percentage in the two. When you fall in love, pretty much all your brain, all your common sense kind of goes out the window for the most part. Now, for some people, it stays there, but that's because it's not all the way falling in love. Some people wholeheartedly go in there, and it's not healthy at all. So, like, that's one thing. That's one of the differences, because when you fall in love, you kind of invest not only your heart, but you invest like your damn emotions, pretty much all of you emotionally into another person. And when is that ever gonna be healthy? Because at the end of the day, you can't control anybody but yourself. So why would you put that much of yourself into someone else? And that's not to say that we should all be cold-blooded human beings, but we should love people, not fall in love. And like, I'm gonna lose people with this, I know, just because like I'm all over the place because I'm in the middle of cooking. But, and if you guys want to see the chicken breast, this chicken breast is right here. I've seasoned it. I don't season it too much because seasonings bring sodium, and I'm trying to limit the sodium intake as well because I'm trying to lose weight, you know what I mean, get my shit together. You feel me? So, but that's one of the key things when it comes to all of the components that makes into the differences between falling in love and loving somebody. And I used to be, like I told you, I used to be a wholehearted simp, no backbone, just straight up, all over the place. And I've gotten out of that for a lot of reasons. It just wasn't healthy. It wasn't helping me at all. And I was getting ran over by a lot of women. Ran over. I'm talking about like little ass me, and they had big ass 18-wheelers just running me the fuck over. And personally, not personally, seriously, I got tired of that shit. And I started to realize like how the dynamic between a man and a woman in a relationship is supposed to be. And once I realized that, things really like turned the corner for me. As along with me getting closer to God and understanding what role He should play in my life, that's another thing that has really like gotten me in order. You feel me? But for you young men out there, don't fall in love, man. And that's really all I can say. I'm not saying don't love women or nothing like that. I'm not saying nothing crazy like that. But what I'm saying is don't fall in love. It's not healthy. It's not something you should do. You got to keep your protect your mental property, and because you need this all the time. And you don't want to hinder it with something like falling in love. And women are beautiful. Women are great. And you should love them dearly. Just don't fall in love. Don't do it. And I think that there isn't really much I can say. All I can say is, and everybody's definition of love is different, but for me, love is sacrifice and loyalty. And that brings up another thing that I will talk about just for a second. And a lot of people don't necessarily know exactly what loyalty is. People think that loyalty is just sticking by that person, and it's okay for it to dwindle or whatever. Because a lot of people don't understand what exactly loyalty is, right? And people don't understand when exactly is loyalty tested. Just because somebody sticks by you all the time does not mean that they're loyal. What tests their loyalty is when they can see an option that could possibly be better and they still choose to be around you. You feel me? That's when loyalty is really, really tested. And that's when people have to understand that you have to be happy with what you have, because if you always have this urge to go to what you feel is better, then eventually you're gonna be shit out of luck, because you're always gonna be moving on the move, because you're always gonna find something better or something you deem to be better until you get yourself in that situation and you realize that it's not better, and then you're gonna be fucking in a damn pit, in a hellhole, because you done already left the person that you felt was good, and then you left that person for somebody you thought was better and they wasn't better. So now you're in this damn downward spiral trying to find the fix that you had before, and it's no bueno at all. And once people catch on to that, as you get older as well, young men and women out there, people start to notice things like that, and they'll just choose not to deal with you just because they see the actions, right? So that's what loyalty is. And another thing when it comes to love is the difference between falling in love. I'm going back for a second, but falling in love and love is two different things. Love is a word of action. It's a word of will. Falling in love is more of like an emotional thing. But when you love somebody, it's more action into it than anything else. And I don't think that's something that people talk about a lot. But it's more action than it is actual emotion. You can tell somebody you love them all the time, but if you're not showing it, then do you really? You feel me? So that's something to take into account. Now I'm gonna shut the fuck up with all the deep talk. That was just something I wanted to talk about for a second. Now we're gonna get back into making this goddamn banana and peanut butter and shit. Alright, so I have here 100% whole wheat bread. I do eat white bread when it comes to grilled cheese, just because I don't like the way cheese tastes on whole wheat bread. But when it comes to my banana and peanut butter, it has so much flavor. I don't really have to have the bread have like a certain flavor, just because the bread and the banana and the peanut butter tune out the taste of wheat. Because personally I hate the taste of wheat, but I understand I have to eat healthier if I want to be healthier, if I want to get my ass back in shape. So Yeah, so I use whole wheat bread when I eat the peanut butter and banana sandwiches. But when it comes to grilled cheese, which I don't eat as much as I used to, I use regular white bread. My daily foods for the most part are kind of the same, just because my cooking ability is really limited, and I don't really eat fast food anymore. Like, I have my times where I either have to, or I'm in a situation where I leave my food at home or something, and I just don't have a choice. But for the most part, I try my best to choose to eat a healthier meal and stuff like that, be on a healthier diet, and I've been doing pretty good. And honestly, I'm kind of proud of myself for that, because I used to be fucking nuts when it came to fucking fast food, especially like so basically, I'm gonna tell you guys, since we're doing this, I'm gonna tell you guys basically how I gain a lot of weight. And I don't want to like tell you exactly how much I gain until I lose it all, so I can flex and shit like that. Is like, you know what I mean? But I'm gonna tell you this: I'm a little over 200 pounds. Now, when people see me, you can't tell really. Some people might be able to, and you call me a fat fuck. Fuck you. No, I'm playing with you. But yeah, so I'm a little over 200 pounds, right? And I can say back in like 2018, I was nowhere near 200. I was like 165, 170. I was always hovering around 165, 170. And that was because I was in high school. I did nothing but play basketball. I played basketball 24/7. I was playing basketball maybe like eight days, but probably like 8 hours a day type shit. And I fell in love with basketball. I was a basketball junkie. That's all I did. And I moved to Japan after my junior year, and that's when things went downhill for me for a couple of reasons. My senior year, I had the longest relationship I've ever had, and this is no shot to her or anything, but I just got distracted being around her because I was falling in love, like I told you guys earlier, and I just stopped taking care of myself. That was part of it. The other part of it was I got my first job, and the way that place worked, it was like everything was closing at 10 o'clock. I was getting off of work at 9:30, and I was doing that after school. So as humans, we're habitual creatures. We are creatures of habit. So like all of our things we do, we build a routine on it. And part of my routine was basically eating like shit. And I was able to eat like shit because I was still so active and my metabolism was running so high that basically I could eat whatever I wanted and it not affect my weight at all, because I was always in the gym playing basketball. And running around that much, you can virtually gain no weight at all unless you like supersizing 8 times a day or some wild shit like that. It's really hard to lose weight when you're playing basketball constantly. I mean, it's very hard to gain weight when you're playing basketball constantly, especially at the rate I was playing. I was playing like a psycho. So as I stopped going to the gym as much because I was working and I had school and I had a girl and everything, my diet never adjusted to my lifestyle. And what a lot of people would tell you, people that gain weight, is that you don't really notice it until like you notice it. And once you notice it, you're like, fuck, right? And I noticed it, and once I noticed it, I was like, it was so weird, because like I had never, like I grew up chubby, but I hadn't seen myself like in a chubby state in so long, and I didn't even notice it. Like it took me aback for a second. And like, I'm gonna be honest with you, because I was still in love and everything, I never really like focused on it to get it back, because in my head at the moment I was like, ah, fuck it, I got a girl, so it doesn't really even matter, my nigga. And that was the kind of mentality I had, which it was a really, very stupid mentality, right? But what I've noticed is that but as time went on, me and that girl did break up, unfortunately, and that's when things got even worse, because it was like I was heartbroken. I didn't really want to do much, and all I was doing was fucking eating. And that's when I got to my ultimate biggest, and that was like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, whatever. And of course I'm shrinking now and everything, but long story short, no matter what situation you're in life, make sure you stay focused on yourself. And that also goes with falling in love and stuff like that. Now, the good thing about me now is, even when I'm in a relationship, I improve on myself, just because I want to be the best version of me possible, and I never get complacent or get comfortable with who I am to where I just want to chill out. I have a goal to get back down to like, I don't want to go back to 165. I was a thin ass nigga at 165. And it's crazy too, because I used to feel like I was a little thick back then, right? But I do want to get down to like 180, but like a healthy 180. I've always had like a big frame, so like even though I was thin, I was still like bigger in terms of build compared to like all the other basketball players and stuff like that, because like basketball players are normally like really thin, and I was never like super fucking thin, but compared to, in retrospect, compared to the rest of me, like growing up chubby and everything, I was really thin during that time period. But that's what I'm going back to. That's what I'm trying to get back to now. And what really sucks is I don't play basketball as much as I used to, mainly because like the gym here, they don't allow you to play basketball right now. And like for me, that's the easiest form of cardio because it's something I love to do. And I don't look at it as cardio. The problem is now everything I do in terms of like high intensity interval training and all that shit, it feels like cardio. Basketball didn't feel like that. All my problems was going away when I was on the court, and that felt amazing, you feel me? So it's just like, I don't know, man. It was something I wish that I didn't have to do, but I mean, I don't really necessarily regret it because it made me who I am today. And even though I am a little, you know, your boy a little thick, that's fine and everything, because I feel great. I feel absolutely great about who I am as a person, and I take no shame in telling my story and stuff like that. I'm a very confident young man, and that's great. Because there used to be a time in my life where I was not at all. Even when I was with that young lady years ago, I was not confident at all. And what I learned is, like, when you're not confident too, it's really hard to attract ladies. Ladies don't like that shit at all. So I wasn't really too confident. Some girls like to deal with it, but as they get older and more mature, they don't want that shit. They don't want a nigga that's not confident. Now, of course, everybody has their insecurities, but when you just blatantly just unconfident as a motherfucker like I used to be, that's just not cute at all. And girls don't like that shit. But yeah, man, so I'm in the middle of making this. I'm gonna cut this right here, and then we're gonna go right to the stove where I'm about to be frying up this chicken. This shit starts to pop me after like it gets real to the points where the juices start flowing and that shit gets to popping everywhere. So you guys might get a couple of laughs. I know I've been kind of serious this video, but yeah, so I'm gonna cut right here. Alright, y'all, so we're at the stove right now. Last one we picked off last, I was talking about just me losing weight and stuff like that, and how you see the nigga you see today, you feel me? But I mean, it's all good and dandy. You know, I'm eating better, I'm doing shit right. So I know that the process takes time, and it's cool. So I ain't got really much to say though, so I'm just gonna give you guys my plan or whatever. So my workout splits, it goes by like, so on Monday I have push day, Tuesday pull day, Wednesday legs. I do that twice. And then I have my Sundays off. If I miss a day, then I'll just double it up on the day that I work out. And other than that, there's nothing really different to it just yet. As I start to get more and more into weightlifting and stuff, I'll start to change my splits. I'll do more workouts and shit like that. But as of right now, I know my main thing is cardio, because like I have a lot of muscle. It's just buried under some fat that it kind of just got caked on, just from my past decisions, which is fine for me. But like I said, like I still got some tone and stuff like that. My arms are pretty like, they're pretty decent, you know what I'm saying? So my midsection is where most of the change is gonna occur, and I'm really excited for the change. Like I said, I always get better, I always improve. But that's all I got for y'all today. It's your boy RayQuan. I'm out, man.